Interesting story about Vern is I was his band leader for 4 or 5 years, and I hired and fired over 60 drummers. And he walked over to me while somebody was soloing or something and said, "I don't care what you say, that machine is speeding up."
Vern Gosdin, better known as the voice of country music, was a legend in his time. With a smooth, emotive baritone and a knack for heartbreaking lyrics, he became one of the most influential country singers of the 1970s and 1980s. But after hitting the peak of his career with songs like "Set 'Em Up Joe" and "I Can Tell by the Way You Dance," he seemed to fade from the public eye. What happened? Did the music industry push him aside? Was it personal struggles that led to his disappearance from the charts? And what shocking controversy in the early 1980s nearly derailed his career completely? From gospel roots in Alabama to the West Coast country movement, a career revival in the late 70s, and a stunning run of hits in the 80s, Gosdin left a permanent mark on country music history. But his later years were marked by tragedy, hardship, and an eventual decline that left many wondering, where did he go, and what was his final legacy? Let's take a deep dive into the life, career, and final years of Vern Gosdin. Early life. Vern Gosdin's musical journey began in the small town of Woodland, Alabama, where he was born on August 5, 1934. Raised in a devoutly religious household, he was one of 9 children who grew up immersed in the sounds of gospel music. His earliest exposure to music came through the church, where his mother played piano and led the family in hymns. Gospel music became the foundation of his musical identity, instilling in him a love for rich harmonies and heartfelt lyrics. As a child, Gosdin, along with his brothers, took his passion for music beyond the church walls. They performed on Birmingham's WVOC radio station, an early indication of his talent and dedication. It was here that he honed his ability to blend voices in harmony, a skill that would become a defining feature of his future career. Influenced by legendary country duos like the Louvin Brothers and the Blue Sky Boys, young Vern developed a deep appreciation for country and bluegrass music. These early inspirations laid the groundwork for his signature sound, which would later earn him the nickname The Voice. Despite his evident talent, Gosdin's road to success was not an easy one. Unlike many country stars of his era who found immediate fame in Nashville, he took a more winding path. Moving to California in the 1960s, he pursued music while balancing other jobs, gradually making a name for himself. His early years were marked by perseverance and a commitment to the authentic, soul-stirring sounds he had grown up with. Vern Gosdin's gospel-infused beginnings were more than just a phase of his youth. They were the cornerstone of a career that would eventually produce some of the most enduring hits in country music history. Vern Gosdin reached the pinnacle of his career in the early to mid-1980s, solidifying his status as one of country music's most heartfelt and authentic voices. After signing with Ovation Records, he gained attention with Dream of Me, a top 10 hit that showcased his signature blend of rich baritone and emotional depth. However, it was his move to a new label that propelled him into country stardom. With the release of Today My World Slipped Away, Gosdin further proved his ability to deliver heart-wrenching ballads. Though the song later gained widespread recognition through George Strait's rendition, Gosdin's original version set the standard for its sorrowful storytelling. His breakthrough came in 1983 with If You're Gonna Do Me Wrong, Do It Right and Way Down Deep. The former not only became a fan favorite but also earned him a Grammy nomination, a testament to his powerful delivery and masterful interpretation of heartache. Gosdin's momentum continued into 1984 when he achieved his first #1 hit with I Can Tell by the Way You Dance, You're Gonna Love Me Tonight. This song showcased a slightly more upbeat side of Gosdin, while retaining his signature vocal style. His success in this era established him as a defining voice in traditional country music, influencing future artists with his storytelling prowess. Though his chart dominance eventually waned, this period remained the peak of his career, cementing his legacy as the voice of country music. Vern Gosdin's brief retirement from the music industry in the early 1970s seemed like the end of his career. After stepping away, he settled in Cartersville, Georgia, where he focused on running a glass company. However, his love for music never truly faded, and fate had other plans for him. In 1976, Elektra Records recognized his talent and offered him another opportunity to return to the spotlight. Seizing the chance, Gosdin re-recorded Hangin' On, this time featuring the smooth harmonies of Emmylou Harris. The song resonated with audiences and climbed to number 16 on the country charts. This marked a significant turning point, proving that Gosdin still had a place in the industry. Following the success of Hangin' On, Gosdin further cemented his comeback with Yesterday's Gone. The song's strong performance reassured both fans and record executives that his voice remained as powerful as ever. Encouraged by this resurgence, he continued to release more music, gaining traction throughout the late 1970s. One of his notable recordings during this time was a country adaptation of Never My Love, a song originally popularized by The Association. This rendition, featuring Janie Fricke's harmonies, became another highlight of his career. With each release, Gosdin proved that his talent and passion had not diminished despite his years away from the industry. His ability to blend traditional country sounds with heartfelt lyrics resonated deeply with listeners. By the close of the decade, he had firmly re-established himself as a respected artist. This surprise comeback set the stage for even greater success in the 1980s, reaffirming his legacy as one of country music's finest voices. By the late 1980s, Vern Gosdin had solidified his place as one of country music's most distinctive voices. This period, often referred to as the chiseled-in-stone era, marked the peak of his career, with a string of hits that showcased his deep emotional storytelling. Signing with Columbia Records, Gosdin released Do You Believe Me Now and Set 'Em Up Joe, both of which became major successes and reaffirmed his status as a top-tier country artist. The defining moment of this era came with the release of Chiseled in Stone, a song co-written with Max D. Barnes. A haunting ballad about love, loss, and regret, the song struck a deep chord with listeners. Its raw emotion and heartfelt delivery earned it the 1989 CMA Song of the Year award, cementing Gosdin's reputation as a master of the traditional country ballad. The song remains one of his most enduring classics, often cited as one of the greatest country songs ever recorded. That same year, Gosdin released Alone, a concept album deeply influenced by his personal struggles, particularly his divorce. The album was a testament to his ability to translate real-life pain into powerful music. It featured I'm Still Crazy, which became his final #1 hit, along with Right in the Wrong Direction and That Just About Does It, both of which reached the top 10. The chiseled-in-stone era defined Gosdin's legacy, showcasing his ability to blend classic honky-tonk sounds with deeply personal lyrics. Though he would continue to make music, this period marked the height of his commercial and critical success, leaving an indelible mark on country music history. Between 1981 and 1983, Vern Gosdin navigated both professional success and personal controversy. Despite challenges in the music industry and swirling allegations, this period marked a crucial chapter in his career, solidifying his reputation as one of country music's most emotive vocalists. In 1981, Gosdin signed with Ovation Records and quickly found success with the top 10 hit Dream of Me. The song, with its smooth melody and heartfelt delivery, reinforced Gosdin's ability to connect deeply with audiences. However, his tenure with Ovation was short-lived, as the label shut down later that same year, forcing Gosdin to seek a new recording home. Gosdin soon landed at AMI Records, where he continued to build on his earlier success. In 1982, he released Today My World Slipped Away, a poignant ballad about lost love and heartache. The song resonated strongly with country fans, securing another top 10 hit for Gosdin. Its lasting impact was further demonstrated years later when George Strait covered the song, turning it into a #3 hit on the country charts. The track remains one of the most memorable heartbreak anthems in country music, credited with showcasing Gosdin's mastery of conveying raw emotion through song. However, 1982 also brought significant controversy for Gosdin. In January of that year, his name was unexpectedly dragged into a high-profile trial regarding the attempted murder of producer Gary S. Paxton. During the proceedings, one of the attackers, Darrell C. Langley, testified under oath that he and his accomplice had been hired by Vern Gosdin to carry out the assault. The allegations sent shockwaves through Nashville and beyond, given Gosdin's growing reputation in the industry. At the time, Gosdin had been working closely with Paxton, and their professional relationship had reportedly soured. While the prosecution explored the possibility of Gosdin's involvement, he was never arrested or formally charged. Instead of directly addressing the accusations, Gosdin remained silent on the matter for the rest of his life, neither confirming nor denying his alleged role. This decision only fueled speculation, leaving an unresolved mystery that lingers in country music lore. Despite the controversy, Gosdin pushed forward in his career. He signed with Complete Records in the early 1980s, continuing to refine his sound and grow his fan base. In 1984, he released There Is a Season, an album that received widespread critical acclaim. The Los Angeles Times even selected it as the best country album of the year, further cementing Gosdin's status as a leading voice in traditional country music. During this period, Gosdin also expanded his reach by touring extensively, opening for major country acts and performing to packed audiences across the country. The early 1980s were a defining era for Vern Gosdin, marked by both triumph and turbulence. While he enjoyed continued chart success and artistic recognition, the shadow of controversy surrounding the Paxton case remained a lingering question mark in his legacy. Nevertheless, Gosdin's music endured, with songs like Today My World Slipped Away standing as timeless testaments to his ability to capture the complexities of love and loss. The shocking and violent incident involving country music producer Gary S. Paxton in 1980 remains one of the most baffling and sinister episodes in country music history. The attack, carried out by two men named Darrell, 24-year-old Darrell W. Bailey and 20-year-old Darrell C. Langley, was not a random act of violence. It was a planned assault, allegedly ordered by none other than country music legend Vern Gosdin. On that fateful day, Paxton was lured into a van parked outside his house in Nashville, Tennessee. The two assailants immediately launched an attack. One put Paxton in a hammerlock while the other was instructed to shoot him. Paxton suffered severe injuries, including a broken collarbone and shoulder, as well as a deep cut near his right eye that temporarily blinded him. Despite being overpowered, Paxton fought back with all his might. At one point, Darrell Langley pulled out a gun and pulled the trigger. In a desperate bid to save his life, Paxton managed to put his hand in front of the weapon, taking the bullet in his hand instead of a more lethal spot. Throughout the ordeal, Paxton repeatedly shouted, "In the name of Jesus, you cannot kill me!" His determination and faith seemed to fuel his survival instincts. In the struggle, Paxton managed to wrestle the gun away and turned the weapon on Langley, shooting him. Seizing the opportunity, Paxton tried to escape but was badly wounded. As he collapsed outside the van, he was shot twice in the back and left for dead. Meanwhile, Darrell Bailey fled the scene. Neighbors, alarmed by the sounds of gunfire, called the police and emergency responders quickly arrived. Miraculously, despite his severe injuries, Paxton survived the attack. He later stated that he forgave his attackers, which he believed played a crucial role in his survival. Both attackers were arrested and put on trial in 1982. During the proceedings, an astonishing revelation emerged. Darrell Langley testified under oath that Vern Gosdin had hired them for the attack. Gosdin allegedly paid the two men a mere $200 to assault or possibly murder Paxton. The motive? Gosdin was reportedly bound by a contractual agreement with Paxton that limited his ability to move forward in his career. Hiring hitmen may have been a desperate and sinister way to rid himself of Paxton's influence. Despite this damning testimony, Gosdin was never arrested or charged in connection with the attack. The reasons for this remain unclear. Was it due to a lack of hard evidence directly tying him to the crime? Or did influential connections in the music industry help him evade legal consequences? Whatever the case, Gosdin never publicly addressed or denied the accusations, nor did he take any legal action to clear his name. The mystery surrounding this incident persists, with many still speculating about the true motivations and players behind the attack on Paxton. Regardless of the unanswered questions, the event remains one of the darkest and most bizarre stories in country music history, forever tying Vern Gosdin to an alleged murder-for-hire plot that was never fully resolved. The decline begins. As the 1990s arrived, Vern Gosdin's once thriving career began to decline. While the previous decade had been marked by a string of successful albums and chart-topping singles, the changing landscape of country music made it difficult for him to maintain his earlier success. Newer artists were emerging, and the industry was shifting towards a more polished, pop-influenced sound that often left traditional country singers struggling to stay relevant. Despite this, Gosdin continued to release music, staying true to his signature blend of honky-tonk and emotionally charged ballads. However, the hits that once defined his career stopped coming. His last notable success was in the late 1980s, and as the years progressed, his presence on the charts became more sporadic. While his loyal fan base remained devoted, mainstream country radio gradually moved on, favoring younger and more commercially driven artists. Gosdin also faced personal and health-related challenges during this period. The pressures of the music industry, combined with his struggles in his personal life, began to take their toll. In 1998, tragedy struck when he suffered a debilitating stroke. The stroke significantly impacted his ability to perform, making it difficult for him to sing with the same power and precision that had defined his career. For a vocalist whose emotional depth and vocal strength were his trademarks, this was a devastating blow. As a result, Gosdin gradually withdrew from the music industry. The man once dubbed The Voice found himself unable to perform at the level he once had, and without the support of the mainstream industry, his opportunities became increasingly limited. Though he never officially announced his retirement, his output slowed considerably. He spent his later years mostly out of the public eye, focusing on his health and personal well-being, final years, and legacy. Even though his time in the spotlight had diminished, Gosdin's passion for music never wavered. Despite his health struggles, he continued writing songs, holding on to the creative spirit that had driven his career. In 2009, he collaborated with songwriter and producer Joe Sins to record what would become his final songs. Though they were not widely promoted, these recordings served as a testament to his enduring dedication to country music. Unfortunately, Gosdin's health continued to decline. Years of performing, personal hardships, and the lasting effects of his stroke took their toll. On April 28, 2009, at the age of 74, Vern Gosdin passed away, marking the end of an era for traditional country music. Despite the challenges he faced in his later years, Gosdin's influence on country music remains profound. His ability to convey raw emotion through his lyrics and delivery set him apart from many of his peers. He was often compared to legends like George Jones and Merle Haggard, both of whom admired his work. His songs have been covered by artists such as Brad Paisley, Lorrie Morgan, and Willie Nelson, ensuring that his music continues to live on. Today, Gosdin's legacy endures in the hearts of country music fans who appreciate the honesty and authenticity he brought to his songs. Though the industry moved on, his contributions to country music remain timeless, proving that true artistry never fades. And that wraps up our look at the life and legacy of Vern Gosdin, one of country music's most unforgettable voices. Though he may be gone, his music continues to inspire fans old and new. Songs like Chiseled in Stone, Set 'em Up Joe, and If You're Gonna Do Me Wrong, Do It Right Remind us why he earned the nickname The Voice. What's your favorite Vern Gosdin song? Do you have any special memories tied to his music? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps us out. And if you love classic country content, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep the music alive.